Welcome to Film Therapy, the unofficial, unlicensed movie podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Film Therapy.
Film therapy is film therapy.
And today we are going to relax with a series from the past of not so long ago. You may remember Divergent, Insurgent, Allegiant, and the one that was not made.
Ascendant.
Ascendant. Thank you. Yes. That became a meme between us for a while. We were like, anything that said ascend, we would be like, we're ascending.
It's still a meme. When I go to the airport and there's Allegiant Airlines, I'm like, oh, it's Allegiant.
So, yeah, we watched this series and
we did.
We're gonna report on it starting now.
Yeah, so I guess Maddie, do you want to talk about your history with this series? Like, maybe we should start there.
Sure. So I can't remember if I read all the books. I bet I did, right? Like I had to have. I was into all those books, like Hunger Games, Divergent. Emily and I were talking about Uglies. They're making an Uglies movie. So excited. All these like post-apocalyptic civilization, dystopian teenage books. I'm sure I read the books, but I definitely know I only watched Divergent and Insurgent. I had not seen Allegiant, so that was new to me.
I did not know that.
I didn't ever watch The Secret Life of an American Teenager with Shailene Woodley because it was too adult for me at the time. My mom was like, oh my gosh, you can't watch a show about a teenage girl getting pregnant? No. So I wasn't allowed to watch that. It'd be interesting to go back and watch that, though.
I've never seen it either, but I can still hear the trailer for it in my head.
Gosh.
From the creator of Seventh Heaven comes a new kind of family drama.
Do you have to be such a geek and ruin everything for me?
Your sister's not a geek, she's a nice girl.
Molly Ringwald, Josie Bassett, and John Schneider.
And I know what men want. I used to be a man before I met your... Just beware.
One mistake will bring them all together.
Can I talk to the two of you alone?
The world premiere of The Secret Life of the American Teenager. Tuesday, July 1st, only on ABC Family. A new kind of family.
Yeah, no, so I watched Divergent and Insurgent by myself, and then we watched Allegiant together, which was super fun. So a lot of my comments for Divergent and Insurgent are just like thoughts I had in the moment. And I feel like when we watch movies together, we can get those like instantaneous jokes out of our system. We don't have to like comment them on the podcast, and it might not be that entertaining, but
I don't know. I'd say it's pretty entertaining.
okay.
So then I will share my history next, if you do not mind.
Yes, please.
Okay, so when I was in late middle school, early high school, is when the Hunger Games became super popular. And Divergent became a little bit popular, but not nearly as much. Like, everybody I knew read Hunger Games, and some people read Divergent. But I can't remember anybody reading Divergent now, but I'm sure somebody did. I started reading the first book, and I was thinking this is just like the Hunger Games, like it's the exact same thing in it, but like it's not as good, whatever. So then the movies came out, and they just kind of flew by. For some reason, around like 2017, I started following the news about Ascendant, the last one, because for God knows what reason, I don't know why. And then I remember when it came out that like it was gonna be, it was gonna be a TV movie and then a TV show, and then Shailene was like unsure about it, and then it got canceled, and then ever since then I've just kind of always had this fascination with the series because of that. So then during COVID, I went and watched a lot of the young adult movies that I missed. I saw Catching Fire in theaters, and I loved that movie so much. But I had never seen Mockingjay, so I saw Mockingjay during COVID, both parts. I watched 1.5 of the Maze Runner movies because I didn't like those movies.
Oh yeah, Maze Runner. That's another one.
And if you remember, actually, if we go back to, I don't know what episodes they were, but if we go back to previous episodes, I was talking about that whole journey on the podcast. Because that's around the time we started podcasting, was when I was watching like young adult movies that I missed. It was a little side project I was doing. And then when I got to Divergent, I was surprised by how much I really got engaged with it and how much I really enjoyed it. And then by the time I got to the last movie, like I'm like, okay, now I'm like actually a fan, and I'm actually bummed that the last movie never happened, because before that it was just this big fascination. And then somewhere between 1 and 2 years ago, I read all 4 of the books. Yeah, and I've seen each movie at least twice. When Emily and I started dating, on our first date, we watched Divergent, the first movie, and so that's really special to me for that reason. And every time I watch it, I kind of love it a little bit more and more. So the first movie. So that's my history in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Because of how special that is, and because of how much of a fan she is, we also decided that we were going to have Emily come on this episode and talk about Divergent with us. She can share her history as well, because it feels like we all have unique histories with this series.
Hello, welcome, Emily.
Hey, how's it going?
You say welcome like it's so formal, like it's not like she's my fiance and your best friend.
She is a guest on our podcast.
I love it.
I'm sorry, would you like some tea?
Yeah, why have I not received like royalty?
Yeah, does she have her own green room?
Oh, no, I didn't have like any kind of welcoming. I guess I did get a grilled cheese sandwich.
You got a grilled cheese. That's pretty good.
And you got a ring from somebody or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just this thing that happened a while back.
Crazy.
Yeah, so Divergent. I mean, Maddie, I'm kind of like you in this regard. Like, I read all the books in high school, and your comment about the Uglies movie, I'm so excited. I read that book so many times, and I still have my copy of it somewhere. And it was like this book just flopped open. That's how many times I read it. And like obsessed. I was close to the same with all of the other ones, so Hunger Games, Divergent, you know, all the ones that I can't remember right now.
Maze Runner, Twilight, Ender's Game.
Yeah, Ender's Game.
I didn't do Ender's Game or Maze Runner, but I think it was during my sophomore year that I read all of those. Because I remember there was like a contest to see who could read the most books.
Oh, yes. Miss P.
Yeah, Mrs. P. So that was... I had to win that, of course.
Yes.
Would you read the Miss Peregrine books too?
Oh, I did, yeah. I don't know if I read those till later, though.
Because when I read them, there was 3 of them, and I read all 3 of them at the time.
Okay. Yeah, like if it was on that bookshelf, I read it. I don't know, maybe this makes me a bad podcast guest or something, but I don't remember when any of the movies came out, but I know that I saw them all in theaters. I've seen Divergent a few times, but Insurgent and Allegiant I think I've only seen twice now.
Okay.
But as Jake mentioned, Divergent is important, I would say, just because, you know, we watched it on our first date, and that's something that's always going to be kind of special.
And then it took us 2.5 years to watch the other ones.
Yeah, it happens. Did you watch it? You watched it at your apartment?
Yeah, so we watched it at Jake's apartment. Watched Divergent. Fast forward to now, which has seen us in a lot of life circumstance changes. And we watched Insurgent and Allegiant, and yeah, we all watched Allegiant together, me, Jake, and Maddie, and it was a lot of fun because we got to just talk during the movie. And Maddie, I didn't realize you hadn't seen it before. When we watched it, I wouldn't have talked so much. I'm so sorry.
Gosh, no, that's the fun part.
Okay.
And I wanted to talk about it too. Yeah, it was great.
Okay. Whew, good.
So it sounds like we've all read the books. Having read the books most recently, I'm going to prescribe myself as the scholar if we need to, or I can just run out and go grab our copies on our bookshelf. But I was thinking we could just talk about each of the movies, and just go in order, and then we could at the end we'll talk about our hypotheses and hypothetical. We'll shoot out our hypotheticals for the fourth movie that we also watched because it actually exists. And yeah, how does that sound to everybody?
And then we could go over our factions at the end too.
Divergent was released in 2014, and it was directed by Neil Berger. It stars Shailene Woodley, Theo James, Ansel, and that guy, Kate Winslet. Let's see. What's her name? Ashley Judd. Zoe Kravitz. Jai Courtney. Maggie Q. Just a bunch of people.
In a world after the world ended, there is Chicago. Is it only Chicago that has... Oh, no, we're going to get into that later. Okay. There's a wall around Chicago. Chicago is its own unit, and they have every person is assigned to a faction. There are 5 factions. There is Dauntless, there is Erudite, there is Abnegation, there is Amity, and there is Candor. So all of these had different strengths, and everyone is assigned to these on a faction deciding day. So then they live their lives in their groups of like-minded people. So we follow the main character, Beatrice, Shailene Woodley, and she goes by Triss. She grew up in Abnegation. Now it's her deciding day, and you go through a test of what faction you should be, but regardless of what you get on the test, you can choose what faction you want to be in. And you can either pass or fail, and if you fail, you become factionless, which nobody wants that. So we follow Triss. On her test, she gets the result of Divergent, which means she is not one specific faction. She is many. However, on her choosing day, she decides to be Dauntless. So a lot of the movie is her going through the Dauntless training, fighting, being brave and crazy and parkour and wearing black and edgy. Okay, so Bias Eaton is also a Divergent. The film ends as Triss and Theo and their teenage friends jump on a train and go to the faction of Amity. And why did they do that?
So, Kate Winslet's like I'm gonna...
Yeah.
Like, they mind controlled all the Dauntless to go kill all the Abnegation people. So then they stopped her from doing that, and then now they're on the run because she knows that they're Divergent.
Oh, okay. That was this first one? Okay.
So basically the whole idea is that people who are Divergent are different than the rest of everybody, and they don't fit into this puzzle that this scary woman wants them to fit into. And so she's trying to get rid of change because where there's change, there's rebellion. And she wants total control, and you can't control Divergent. And so that's unfortunate for her. Janine is the leader. She's in the faction Erudite.
Yeah, pretty much.
And she thinks that she needs to be in control of all of the factions. but the actual leader is still Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus is
Eaton.
the leader of abnegation. And he's like the worst.
Wait, okay, so there's each leaders of each faction, but there's no leader again, like for everybody.
No, because Octavia Spencer's the leader for Amity.
Right.
Naomi Watts is the leader for Factionless, and Kandor, the leader, is Daniel Daycam. And then the leader of Dauntless is... I guess Dauntless doesn't really have a leader. Maybe it's Eric.
That's interesting.
Anyway, Marcus, I think, let me double check. Yeah, Marcus is played by the late, great Ray Stevenson, who was also the villain in RRR.
Oh, really?
Yes. So he's also the bad guy in RRR.
Oh my. Like the English colonizer bad guy?
Yeah, the main bad guy, the guy that, the king or whatever.
Ah, okay. Nice.
And his wife is played by Elsa from Indiana Jones 3, the girl that's a Nazi. Spoilers. Anyway,
so what were some of your thoughts for this film?
I really like how there's a little bit of a style with the testing sequences and all the serum sequences. Like anytime like Triss takes a test or like goes into like her fear landscape or whatever, I really like that there's like it becomes a little bit trippy. That's really cool. And like the orange aesthetic is pretty cool. The out of the entire Shailene Woodley harem cinematic universe of her boyfriends, because they're all in this movie,
Right?
because her and Ansel are lovers in Fault in Our Stars, and her and Miles Teller are lovers in Spectacular Now, which is an amazing movie.
Love it.
And then in this one, it's her and Theo James, and their chemistry is really like phenomenal. Like there's that moment when he's watching her like train or whatever, and he starts the scene off like really horrible. He's like it's the worst pickup line you ever want to tell a girl. He's like you're weak, you have no stamina, like you suck, you're not good at what you're doing. And then he walks over to her and puts his hand like on her side or her hips or whatever, and then moves her over a little bit, and then they look at each other, and then it's just like, damn, like instantly it's just like, okay, they.
Well, even before that, when she first jumps down into Dauntless,
Yeah, that's right.
and lands on this net, and he helps her get off, and he like puts his hand on the small of her back for like a millisecond.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm like, that's pretty great.
I used to think, like, when I saw him in this, I was in love.
Oh my gosh.
This time, not so much. He has sticky outy ears.
Okay, I'm so glad you said that, because I was so into him when I first saw this, like, and I just wasn't feeling that this time.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I think really about their chemistry. I think this whole movie, I think, is a little bit cheesy. And it's just, I mean, it does what the audience wants, obviously, but,
Yeah, I definitely liked it when I was younger better,
Yeah.
but I do still like their few moments of, like, awkward chemistry, because I know that that's what I liked when I was in high school.
yeah, just like the looks that they give each other.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Shailene was like 22, 23 when they filmed this, and Theo James was probably like 29 or maybe even 30. So
How old is he now?
40.
Jeez.
Dang.
Well, I think their chemistry's great, honestly. Like it's like for me, it's the one thing that's consistent across all the movies, and I just love seeing them together, and I would love to see the two of them together in another movie.
Yes. No, I think that would be very interesting if they had, like, different characters. But what else? What is Theo James even in again? Like I don't
He's
think I've seen him
in the
anything
HBO
else.
series The Time Traveler's Wife. He's in the Underworld movies, which I have not seen yet, but they're similar to Resident Evil. He was on.
Yeah, that's on our list.
Yeah, he was on that show on HBO, like the White Lotus or whatever the fuck it was called. He was on that. Yeah, he was on that show.
Oh, yeah, he was. Season 2.
And then Shailene was in the movie where she and what's his name, they're in a boat and then there's like a big wave or whatever.
Oh.
And it looked really intense.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Because we saw some other movie in theaters and they had that trailer and I was like, what is this? And she's also in the GameStop movie that came out last year that looks kind of good. So yeah, they're both still acting, so put them together in something.
I want Shailene Woodley. So she has such a dynamic face that can be molded for like any character, I feel like Johnny Depp or Natalie Portman or something. And I just feel like we're missing that opportunity because she mostly just plays herself in things, or just she plays like dialed back characters. I want to see her do something crazy.
Oh, she's also in Snowden
with
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, okay. Didn't see that. I didn't see that boat movie either.
I didn't either
because I was also afraid of it.
Yeah, same. Because the way we were exposed to it was seeing the trailer in the theater, and we were just like, yeah, that looks intense.
Yeah,
looks like the perfect storm or some shit. Like,
yeah,
nah.
I'm like, yeah, nah. Yes,
I found Theo James's Instagram, and he hasn't posted since 2020.
Since 2020?
Yeah, but that picture of him is nice.
Oh, okay, we'll check it out. We will post it on our social
media.
Okay. The rest of it, he's just posing for stuff, and he's probably posing here, but dang.
Now, what about Shailene's Instagram? Can you find that?
Oh, yeah. Hers is more active. Or it was, because she's very into a lot of, like, politics stuff.
Ooh. Yeah, he's looking good.
She was engaged to Aaron Rodgers for a while, and I'm like, girl, you can do so much better.
Oh, yeah! Forgot about that.
Posts.
And that's her official account.
I could see her definitely not being on social media.
She used to post all the time.
Wow.
And so I don't know if she just deleted everything, or...
I don't think this is the actual Theo James.
Oh,
it's not
okay.
verified.
Well, it's a good picture on that.
Yeah, the captions on some of these are just like, looks like fans, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if neither of them are on Instagram.
Okay, anyway, let's get back. Let's talk about the movie. Maddie, please start us off with some of your random thoughts, because I would love to hear your random thoughts about them, like that you wrote down about the movie.
Okay, so, yeah, first thing I wanted to talk about was their fighting stance in Dauntless with their arms in like a T formation.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I'm
what the
thinking.
fuck is that? Like, what? How is that efficient? It's nothing like any normal fighting sets. They're like, well, it's post-apocalyptica, we have to make it different. And
based on some type of martial art.
Oh, okay.
But it looks ridiculous, and it's definitely not how I learned to fight. Yep. Like, what... I noticed that too. Like, what is even happening?
Yeah, so I watched this movie with Noah. Or I watched the whole thing with Noah. So he was making fun of it the whole time. But that was one of the things he commented on too. So, and oh yeah, the Dauntless, like, they just run everywhere because they can. Like the day of the reaping or whatever, where they choose their faction, Dauntless just runs in like, and they're cheering, woo, and parkouring everywhere, and everyone has like spiky hair and eyeliner.
It's like all of the like energy and adrenaline, and they're just you can tell that they were told, like all the actors were told, like, okay, go in and just be crazy.
Yeah, be crazy. Yeah. I wanted to ask y'all.
Yes.
What faction do you think you grew up in?
Oh.
I think I was born and raised in abnegation.
Okay.
Probably a mix between.
Oh, I didn't know we could do mixes.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, say one first.
I just think of like, I don't know. I feel like Dauntless, but I was definitely not. I did not belong a lot of the time. What about you?
I don't know. Maybe Erudite.
Ooh.
Maybe Amity.
Okay.
What was your other maybe?
Mine would be Erudite.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing my dad and brother doing all sorts of outside things, and it's like, okay, jump off this thing and climb this tree and go run around here, and that just wasn't.
Do archery.
Yeah, so okay, archery, that's fun.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff I'm like, no.
Like, why?
Yeah, like there's no need.
And then I wanted to ask, based on color alone, what faction would you choose?
Dauntless. No question. I wear black all the time.
Color.
Which, you know why. But
Who is blue? Is that Erudite?
yes. Yeah, Erudite.
Erudite.
Okay, so then Erudite.
I think I would be Abnegation. But I also like, okay, so Candor is supposed to be white, but like a lot of the times what they're wearing is like black and white, which I really love.
I would have chosen Amity for you, Maddie.
Oh, really? Like a burnt orange? Yeah, I do love that color too.
But like bright and earthy, and yeah, that's what I would have chosen for like you.
I basically like all of them except Erudite.
Which is blue.
I hate blue.
Why?
I don't know. Not never. Recently, in the last few years, have been like strayed away from anything blue. It's not my color at all.
Okay.
Watch what you say, Maddie. We both have blue eyes, and Binksley's a blue tabby, partly. So
I got blue eyes.
Yeah, I was gonna say Maddie.
I
has
love blue eyes.
too.
I just don't like wearing blue or having blue in my house.
that's fair. I remember driving by in my hometown, and there was one house. It was the ugliest shade of blue I've ever seen in my life.
Our whole kitchen is blue because it was based off of like all the stuff I have is like what I had in college.
Oh yeah.
And so it's all this like
all of our plates are blue, it's like a lighter blue though, so it's not.
It's like a almost. Well, it's not teal or turquoise, but it's still blue. I know what color you're talking about though.
Like robin's egg.
That was one of my like high school graduation colors.
Ooh, yeah, yep. That's
So
same.
I did like that color at one time.
Yeah, same here. I am done with it in the kitchen though, so.
Oh, okay. So I had a question about what kinds of tests do you think the other factions went through to like earn their spot in, or do you think Dauntless was the only one that had like that intense of tests? No, they must have, because like you can't just like say, oh, I want to be Abnegation and then be like a selfish piece of shit.
Yes, you can, because look at Marcus Eaton.
Oh shit. Okay, maybe the point of Abnegation is like we just accept you, like we're not gonna test you. Same with Amity, maybe.
Yeah, maybe like Abnegation, because Abnegation's kind of more like District 12. So maybe they have the vibes of like, you just have to like you just have to like spend a week like just doing selfless things, or you have to do this much community service or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Candor would be more like you have to
Lie
like go
detector
through
tests.
yeah, exactly. Erudite would be like a knowledge quiz, you know, like how
you'd
how
have to take
knowledge-
lots of tests for that one.
like lots of aptitude tests, like basically the ACT
Yeah.
or the SAT, like times 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm picturing Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. That's
Blue.
I love that. And blue
Mhm.
also.
Blue,
yeah.
there we go.
And then Amity is probably just like, go out and take care of these crops, see how well you do. We'll train you if you need to do better, because they're very forgiving also.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they live very peaceful lives. So again, it's probably something to do with community service also.
Yeah, because how many people in the factionless society do you think come from amity or abnegation? Like, it's probably very few, rather than Dauntless.
Probably,
Like, because Dauntless just shuns you out
yes
for
yes,
nothing, basically.
Exactly. It's probably more Dauntless or Candor. Like, let's say you go to Candor, but then you're like trying to hide this really dark secret, and then they find out instantly, and then you're cast aside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or
Yeah, lots of truth serum in Candor.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Trish chooses Dauntless and meets Thor and everybody else. And what I like about the first book or the first movie, and especially in the first book, is like how much time we just spend just her just kind of like it's like any like coming of age story where she just like finds her place. Like obviously at the end of the movie they're fugitives, they have to run from the law, but the fact that like she goes through the ranks and finds her place and finds love and everything, like it's a very familiar story, but it's still like a really enjoyable one, and like it's still like a really like heartening story, I guess you could say. And then like the fact that like to stay in Dauntless, there's that final test you have to pass, and then like she manages to pass it even though like everybody's watching and Janine is there, and like you know what I mean, like it's like in any other movie like that would or in a lot of other like things like that would be like the final like thing, you know. It's like in Karate Kid, like the end of it is the tournament, and it's like you know, Daniel Sung using all of his skills that he's accumulated to like you know to do his best. And then this is kind of like the same thing, I guess, except then there's the whole added plot of like Janine's like, yeah, we gotta like go kill all the abnegation because we're trying to find Divergence, and like
Right. Yeah, it's a relatable story, and it's as cheesy or teeny bopper as it might be, it's still like relatable and interesting in the fact that it's like this world building place that we're immersed in.
Yeah, it's like just because those elements of the story are simple or like they've been done a lot, like it doesn't feel like tired, you know, like when you're watching the movie.
Yeah, because we definitely want to know what comes next.
I think Kate Winslet does a fine job, but I just don't think Janine is really intimidating as a villain. Like, she just stands around all the time.
I wish she would have kept her like original accent, because I think that would have made it more intimidating. Even though it's like a Walden, Chicago, I feel like she's still like, it could have been explainable somehow that she has an English accent.
Yeah, that probably would have helped like a lot, because if Trish's mom came from outside of Chicago, you know, who's to say Janine didn't?
Yeah,
I can't remember that.
Yeah,
I know I said I was going to be the scholar from the books, but I cannot remember for the life of me if Janine came from outside of Chicago or not.
I doubt it.
But like that would be really interesting, if in Allegiant they were like, oh yeah, Janine was out here too. That's why she's like has an English accent, because like not Like, just imagine your whole life just thinking, just like one city, like the size of Chicago or whatever. Like, that's
that'd be crazy.
That's the whole world. And then it's like,
Wow.
nah, man,
Yeah.
there's like the whole earth.
Yeah. Like, how many other civilizations are out there, and what are they doing to enforce power or try to... They're, like, experimenting, which... Although, at the same time I was watching these, I was also watching the new Fallout series on Prime, and I was getting mixed up in my head, like, some of the lore, because... Do you know anything about the Fallout series?
I know Kyle MacLachlan's in it.
Yes, he is! So it's like also, well, it's post-apocalyptic, but it's as if the world had ended in about like 1955, and it's due to like a nuclear wasteland. So everything's like nuclear powered, and so it's very different. But it's still like kind of post-apocalyptic, and everyone lives in these vaults underground, and they can go up above ground, and it's like this wasteland of radiation poisoning and all sorts of things. So I was getting like mixed up in my mind, especially in Allegiant, where they go outside the border, and it's like this crazy like Yellowstone National Park looking sulfur red Mars land. So
that's perfect.
So
that's the best way to describe it.
So it was hard to keep them straight, but also good watch on Prime if you want to. Oh, I just want to mention Big Little Lies. If you haven't seen it, is great with Shailene Woodley. This also is her crossover episode of Shailene Woodley and Zoe Kravitz, because they're both in that, and they're both amazing. It's,
that's
like,
awesome.
One of the best shows on Max. Season 1 is like super great. Season 2 is fine. But yeah, stacked with great cast and murder mysteries. So yeah,
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I might watch that.
I'd watch that with you.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Do you have any other thoughts on the first movie?
Something that I didn't really... that I kind of struggled with these movies, and I feel like we all are kind of struggling with it, is that it's hard to remember which happened where.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't tell you a whole lot more of, like, past Divergent. I don't remember what happened in Insurgent versus Allegiant. Like, they're all kind of the same to me, and I didn't take notes. I'm bad, like I said, bad podcast guest.
I took like 6 notes, you're fine.
But still, and I haven't read books since high school. So I think Jake's kind of ahead of me on that, at least, because you read the books semi-recently.
Yeah.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to say was the ziplining sequence where but the song that plays, it's called I Need You, and it's such a wonderful song, and it's a really great moment. And had Ascendant been made, the final scene, I think, would have been a callback to that scene. So every time I watch that scene, it makes me feel a lot of different emotions. But also I really like that band. And then that same band
just
also
looks like M83. What's the name of the song?
It's called I Need You by M83. And then in Insurgent, they have a song at the end called Holes in the Sky, and that song's pretty good too. But they don't have a song for Allegiant, which is why I think that movie is cursed, because they probably would have done a song for Ascendant, because that was part 2, but they didn't do a song for Allegiant, which they should have, because, you know. But anyway, I just really, really like that scene. Just something about the vibes of that scene are so great, and, like, I'd be terrified as shit to do something like that, but, like, it would feel so exhilarating at the same time.
Right?
Well, we can move on to Insurgent then.
This might have been my second time seeing Insurgent. Probably second time.
it was, I think, all of our second times seeing Insurgent.
I think it's like 5 days after the end of the first movie. Triss and Four, and I think others, but Triss and Four are both on the run from Janine, who's played by Kate Winslet. They are running from her because she declared that anybody who is divergent is bad and needs to be killed, like, immediately. So she's got, like, this elaborate plan in place for divergents to die. So they run and hide out in Amity. And I think they also have Triss's brother Caleb with them.
Yes.
And then Peter as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Christina.
Oh, and Four's dad is there too.
Marcus E.
They're all there.
Yes. So, like, everybody who could escape and did is in Amity right now. And eventually Amity's like, you can't stay with us. Erudite, which is what's her face? Janine. She
sends
found them.
Yeah, she sends
basically.
Eric after him and
Yep.
stuff.
Yep. And so
Ooh, Eric.
I don't remember her name, but Octavia Spencer plays her.
Yeah.
It's like the coolest character.
Joanna, that's her name.
Joanna, yep. Is like, you gotta go, basically. But also, you know, she's the
Best
leader.
of wishes.
Yeah, like, she's the leader of Amity. She doesn't really want to kick them out. But they decide to leave. I think at that point is when Caleb decides to follow Janine with Erudite because he's so loyal to Erudite. And then Peter goes and works for Janine.
The next thing is Triss and Four get on the train, and then they go and meet Four's mom next.
Yes. So they go on the train and they go out to the faction list and they find Four's mom. And she is the leader of the faction list, basically, even though they wouldn't say that the faction list had a leader. She's it.
And then after that, then Triss goes to Erudite to figure out this box that Janine has, because, like, all the divergents, like, have... Like she's testing all these divergents and they can't pass the box test. And Janine wants to know...
Yeah, that's, like, way ahead of... Yeah, but...
Janine wants to know what's in the box!
Basically, it's just a lot of action and fighting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. They go to Kandor. That's what happens.
Yeah, so they go to Kandor and Four's mom is like, hey, let's put Kandor and the Dauntless and let's put Dauntless and Factionless together.
She wants to merge a couple of the factions with the factionless.
Yes, exactly, because she thinks that would make it
stronger
better.
against one faction.
Which probably would, but Four's like, I don't really want to be with my mom. So then the Dauntless, Eric, and the other dude capture Triss. They find out that Triss is like 100% divergent, and so they're like, oh, that's gonna be the person to open this box, because there's this box.
Oh, right.
And it has to be opened by a divergent, so...
Because there can be different types of percentages of divergence.
Right, yeah, like they could be 2 or all, or like, I don't know,
but
just some of the faction lists.
But as far as 100% goes, there can...
And what do they call them? Like when they're still like tainted or damaged?
Yeah.
They don't do that yet. That's the next movie.
Is that in the next? Oh, dang it!
3 of us trying to explain these movies. We can't do it.
It's rough, but
If so,
but
I hate this movie. I don't like
it.
it.
But I have a train of thought, so I'm getting there.
she's getting there.
So
Okay, all right. I'll
it's
shut up.
okay. We'll all get it. But so now they're trying to get Triss to open this box, and they basically place her where she has to pass like a test for each of the factions.
Favorite part.
It's kind of like when they put her in her Fearscape, but she has to act how those factions would act. It's super cool. They do a lot of awesome film things. Then she doesn't make it. So it's like too much and her vitals go away. But then Peter sweeps in, grabs Triss, runs her out to 4. But then she like wakes up and they find out that Peter had been helping them all along and had given her some sort of medicine to make her die-ish.
Yeah.
And there's like a big action scene, and Trish is like, no, I gotta finish because I gotta find out what this box thing is. So she goes back in to the simulation room, and she like figures it out and opens up the box, and the box opens like this older looking hologram, and it's from I think like 200 years before, and it's like, hi, by the way, there's a whole world outside of your city and outside of the walls, and we're waiting for you because divergents are what like make the world spin, basically. Then 4's mom comes in out of wherever she was and kills Janine. Everybody heads to the outside of the wall.
Perfect.
The end.
Nice.
What did y'all think of this movie?
Boo.
I agree.
Mostly, yeah. Maddie, what notes? Oh, I'm gonna see what I wrote down, but what notes do you have for this?
I have. The first one was way more compelling. This one is really way more cheesy, even cheesier than the first one. It was a lot more action adventure, which you know how I feel about that. There was one interesting thing though. When they were right at the beginning, when they're running away from Amity, you can tell like Caleb is running like a spaz, like he has no form and everything, and the Dauntless are all just like like professional runners. And I thought that was hilarious looking at him like running like that, but then I realized it was on purpose, and I read that in like an IMDb like fun fact or whatever, because he was like, it was his idea to be like, well, I can't run as good as them, obviously, because I wasn't like trained to do that. So he was like flopping his arms all around. I thought that was really cool.
Okay. I don't know about just what I'm about to say.
I love that. That's amazing.
But I feel like that's how, and I apologize, Jake, in advance, that's how Timothy Chalamet runs through the sand.
Really?
Yes.
And he's not just trying to like have an abnormal beat.
No, not when he's doing the sand walk. But like when he's actually running, you can tell he's not a runner.
That's so funny.
And I get a kick out of it every time, and I feel bad for saying it out loud into the world, but that boy cannot run. And I mean, props to him, he's trying to run in the sand, but...
Yeah, you run in the sand.
No, I don't, and I don't have anyone film me while I'm doing it either, so... There's reasons.
Yeah, I guess sand is hard, but you know.
But this dude's just running through grass.
I know, but it reminded me of that when I saw it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, the whole time we were watching the movie, I'm like, man, it looks so dumb. And then Maddie, like you said, like I looked it up on IMDb, and it's like, oh, that was supposed to be.
Oh my gosh,
that was an actor's choice.
I love it.
Like, okay,
I love it.
That's fine.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. What else did you have, Maddie?
I had that Naomi Watts looks amazing. Yeah, there's just like a lot of build up for them to open up this mysterious box of intelligence, and apparently, I think maybe Jake, you said this, it was very different from the book.
Mm-hmm.
So, in what ways was it different from the book?
So the book, let me see. This is one of the things I wrote down because I'm just going off of memory here. So in the book, instead of Triss doing the box, there's like this whole additional like third act that just doesn't happen in the movie. Where it's like Triss and Tori, I think the tattoo artist, Four's dad and a couple other people, like they sneak into Erudite to get Janine, and then the rest of it is like kind of the same, like basic things but kind of different. And here's the thing, without credits, the first movie is like, I don't know, like 2 hours and 10 minutes or 15 minutes or some shit like that. And then this one's an hour and 45 minutes. So if they let the movie breathe and be a half hour longer, then first of all, the pacing of this movie would be so much better and it wouldn't feel so overstuffed. But if they weren't afraid to make the movie 2.5 hours, 3 hours, then they could have done this. Basically, they get the message out, but instead of Naomi Watts, Evelyn, killing Janine, Tori's the one who does it, because Janine killed her brother because he was the Divergent. But then he's actually, and she mentions that in the first movie, but he's actually not dead. Like he got sent like outside of Chicago, and then in the third book, right after she dies, right after Tori dies, they go outside the wall and he's basically the first person they meet.
Oh.
And so like in the movie when she dies, like that, or the reason why it's in the book is like okay, like she's the one that killed Janine, so she like has to die. Like readers like, or writers like okay, you killed this person, so you have to die. Like you have to atone for your sin, perhaps, kind of thing. But then her brother's never mentioned in anything other than the first movie, so we don't get that whole plot line. And instead it's Evelyn that kills Janine.
Okay.
And there's a lot more differences too, like like there's more tension between Triss and Four, like they're having a lot more of back and forths and stuff, and then the third book kind of resolves that, like especially towards the end. As far as like the differences, like other than looking it up, like honestly, that's all that matters. I I don't want to sit here and point out all the differences, but because I just don't care, to be honest, because this movie is not that great. But basically, I think the first movie does a pretty good job at adapting the book, and then this one's more of a loose adaptation, I would say.
Okay.
Out of all the books, this is the one that like adapts it like the least closest. But you know, they still go to Amity, they still go to Candor, Triss still goes to Erudite on her own. But a lot of like the background characters get fleshed out more. Like there's like a whole like love triangle going on in the background between like 3 other characters, and then like 2 of those characters die. Spoilers for the books, I guess. And basically extra stuff you couldn't fit into a movie. But then like again, it doesn't really matter, because my main issue as to why I don't like this one is because like they literally had an extra half an hour because the first movie is a half hour longer, and there's so much shit that happens in this movie. It's like it needs that extra half hour to like breathe and like not just go from set piece to set piece, because we literally visit like every single faction in this movie, and it feels like just like it's on fast speed the whole time.
I agree.
But then like the third act, like when it's just like Triss like going through all the simulations and like having to like fight herself and overcome her demons, and she gets to talk to her mom again and stuff, like that's all great. Like I love that. You just have to sit through the first like hour and 10 minutes or whatever of the movie to get to that.
Right, yeah, the last part is interesting. It's just everything up until then is like, I don't care.
And then they kill Eric, but then they basically give him a doppelganger in the next movie.
Yep. Is it that guy that's like he's the factionless guy in the first movie, and who's Eric's sidekick in the second movie? Does he go on to be the next Eric, or does that guy die too?
No, I think that guy dies too. No, wait, I'm sorry.
He
he's
doesn't.
He's in the third movie, but he's still the sidekick to the new Eric, I think.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, am I right? Maybe I'm wrong.
Let me look.
I thought he became the new Eric.
No, because he's a...
I don't really remember.
It's this guy that looks like
I
Ryan
remember
Sheckler.
the colors, like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard that name in like.
I don't know who that is at all.
Wasn't he a skater dude?
Skater dude.
Yeah. I don't.
I already forgot. Okay, let's see.
Who cares?
I don't think I even found his name in the first IMDb like credits.
Well,
It doesn't even really like matter, which is the thing about this whole movie is it's most of it doesn't matter. And
they should have
that's
followed the
horrible.
book, because in the book, things actually matter.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, yeah, that would have been good because in the movie, it's like, I feel like you can get through and only see the last whatever part that is where she's going through all of the different factions and the simulation and stuff and be like, okay, cool, like, that's all the information I need to know. And then go into the third movie and not really feel like you're behind on things. Like, it doesn't make things important enough that they really follow through, and you need all of the plot lines to see the third movie.
Like, you definitely have to see the first movie
Yeah.
to get to the... Like, you can't just watch the third movie after... Like, you need to see all of the first movie, and then you could just watch the last, 20-30 minutes of this one and just be like, oh, yeah, she just cut her hair. That's what happened. And then, you feel like you wouldn't miss much else. Except for maybe, the scenes in Candor where, she takes the truth serum and tells Christina that she killed her boyfriend, but,
Nah, you don't even need that. Because
Yeah,
I
then
was
they make
lost
up
on
and
that
it's
the whole
fine.
time. I kind of forgot that happened in the first movie, and I was like, whatever, I guess.
Yeah, it's not important. It doesn't help the plot or move it anywhere.
If I don't know if this means anything, but Insurgent was also my least favorite book.
Mm.
It felt like such a drag to get through at times. Although the book is also longer than the first book, so to my remembrance, so they made a shorter movie out of a longer book. It's like when they're like, oh yeah, Lord of the Rings, let's make that 3 movies. Oh yeah, The Hobbit, it's like 1/5 of the size of Lord of the Rings. Let's also make that 3 movies.
Yeah, I think if you just have the little blurb like, okay, there's a civilization outside of Chicago, which they already hinted at in the first movie. Like, that's basically all we need to know. I'm still trying to find that guy. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't even bring his face to memory.
Oh, I think I found him. I think his name is... Ooh, I don't know. Johnny Weston, maybe? Maybe that's him? His,
What's his name in the movie?
His name in the movie is Edgar?
It is Edgar, yep. Yep, you're right.
Okay. Alright.
Well done.
He's also in Nothing I've Ever Seen. Oh wait, he's in Take 3 in!
Oh shit!
Who is he in Take 3 in?
Jimmy?
I don't know who the fuck that is. Let's see. There's Liam Neeson. There's his daughter, and I don't remember anybody. Oh, and I think Forrest Whitaker's in that movie too.
Yep. Wait.
And it's basically The Fugitive, but it's like the worst movie. It's like the worst version of
Forrest
that
Whitaker.
movie.
Jimmy. He's like number 10 on the cast list, so I'm sure you see him. It's spelled Jimmy. I don't know. Where are they in Taken 3?
I don't fucking remember. All I remember is that Liam Neeson survives 2 explosions, and it takes him 14 or 19 cuts to jump over a fence.
So funny. Anyway,
It's
that's a
the
funny
greatest movie of all time. I'm sorry I
crossover.
can't remember every little detail about the greatest movie of all time, but but it's hard. It's a lot to take in when you're watching Taken 3.
Fair.
It's so funny, like, because we're like trash talking this movie so much, but then also at the same time it's like other than this one, like they're really meaningful and they mean a lot, you know, I would say. And they're great, they're a lot of fun, but then the second one is just like by far my least favorite, just because of like so much shit happens and you don't have enough time to breathe, and then the ending is like really, or the third part of it's like really, you know, it's like we just said. But anyway, Maddie, did you have any?
No,
that was it. That was all you had.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I watched this movie, because like I said, I watched all these during COVID. The first time I watched it, there's that moment in Amity or whatever where Peter splits off from everybody and him and Four like look at each other, and then I'm like, I'm gonna remember that because that means something. And then like I felt like so rewarded like later on when Peter turns out he was helping them the whole time, because like I remember just being like, yeah, like I knew he was a good guy the whole time or whatever. So like that was cool watching it the first time. And then watching it the second time, like I remember saying to Emily, like that was exactly what my reaction was.
I didn't catch on to that, and I didn't like feel much by that, but I'm glad you did.
I remember you talking about that during when it happened, Jake.
All right. Well, the other parts of the movie I really like are when like when Triss gets to talk to her mom again, and her mom tells her that she's been brave, and she's like, I don't feel brave, I don't feel strong at all, like whatever the quote is, like she did, like whatever she says, like she feels like she's not special, and maybe she is like what's wrong with the world. And then later on when Janine's like, you're gonna fight yourself, and then she like chooses not to and chooses to like love herself instead, it's like it's almost it's like this really like impactful moment, not like on the levels of like Evangelion or anything, but it's still like in my journey of watching movies and my journey of life, it kind of in retrospect it feels like a small step to that. And so I really like that a lot. But yeah, any other thoughts on this movie?
Not for me.
Nope.
All right, so then we can talk about Allegiant then, which we all watched together, and that was a lot of fun.
So fun.
So Allegiant, first of all, so much better than Insurgent, easily.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, this one starts off, it's a few days after the last one. Triss is like Sigourney Weaver in the Alien movies, where she has a different hairstyle every movie, which is great. I like her hairstyle in this one quite a bit.
Me too.
She and Theo still got that chemistry. Like the first scene, they're just like standing on top of a building or whatever the fuck, and I'm just like, this could just be the whole movie. It's fine. It's pretty people standing in pretty locations. It's fine.
It's giving Before Sunset.
Yeah, a little bit. That would be great. Just that's what I want. Just put them in a Richard Linklater movie or something. Like
I would really like to see them in something different together. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be so great. That's all I want. I want that even more than I want them to make the last of these movies.
Whoa.
Okay. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, wow.
Because this at least has a possibility of happening. Okay.
You think?
Of the two of them being in a movie together, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's possible. Anyway, so the movie starts off with a few days after the last one. Everybody in Chicago is now split between Evelyn's side and Joanna's side, and they're all just kind of infighting, and it's kind of like there's going to be a big civil war inside Chicago or whatever. And Triss and Four and their group escape and head over the wall. Tori gets killed because in the book she actually died for a reason, but in the movie they kill her because not everybody can make it over. And then they also break Caleb out of prison because he's scheduled to be executed because he was one of Janine's followers. And then he's like, Tris, I'm so sorry. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then they break him out, and then they all go over the wall, and then they basically find that Earth has become Mars, and they're running through this like rusty red rock desert, and there's acid rain, and it's like this. It's just such a really cool and unique design for an apocalyptic world, because Chicago is like it is apocalyptic, but it doesn't feel like in the Hunger Games, like how they have the different districts and how they all feel different. It's kind of the same thing with how all the factions feel different in these movies. Mm-hmm. But basically, you've got like your high-tech section, and then you've got like all the computers and stuff, and then you've got like the farmland, like Amity. Dauntless is more like the caverns and like the underground stuff. But then when you get outside, but you still have like grass and electricity and everything. And then they go outside the wall, and then it's like fucking like Mars, like I said. And then they're being chased by Edgar, Eric's evil twin, I guess, Johnny Weston or whatever the fuck his name is. And then they're like running through this like little creek on the side of the road, and then like Edgar drives a Jeep like over them and starts like shooting at them. And then the sky opens next to them on the other side.
Oh.
And then all these guys in red come out, and then they're like, "Welcome to the Bureau. You're safe with us now." They lead Triss's team to this facility in the Chicago O'Hare Airport. They all get decontaminated in the most claustrophobic way possible.
Ooh.
It's
yes.
legitimately
Awful
terrifying.
Scene.
They get through that, and then it's revealed that they've been watched their entire lives. And there's cameras all over Chicago, and everybody knows who they are. And then Triss meets the leader of the Bureau, and his name is David, and he's played by Jeff Daniels, who is Harry from Dumb and Dumber, and also the star of Arachnophobia, which is also one of the greatest movies ever made, because he shoots spiders with a nail gun. And yeah, it's great. We watched it in school. And then David's like, hey Triss, because you're 100% Divergent, you're what we call pure, and instead of saying Divergent, that's what we say. And then everybody else, including 4, is like damaged. And I don't know why Triss is pure, other than the fact she's 100% Divergent, because it can't be a trauma thing, because she's also experienced trauma. But whatever, who cares? They got super advanced tech, like they control drones when they go out into the fields. The fields of the trenches of like the red soil. They've got like these giant helicopter type machine things that are shaped like giant like gumball machines or some shit like that. And so then David tells Triss that her mom was actually from outside Chicago, and she decided to go in and be a part of the experiment, and then she met Triss's dad and decided to stay. And so then Triss gets to feel more connected to her mom because of that. But then 4 realizes that the Bureau is they're saving children from like the outside, like the unsafe zones outside, but then they're actually like wiping their minds and putting them in the experiment and stuff. So they're taking away their selves basically. David takes Triss to the council, but then the council has no idea what's going on. They're like the council of like, I don't know, the United States government or some shit, but they have no idea what's going on. So very, very similar to real life there. It's also like Star Wars, where the Jedi Council just sit around and do nothing in the prequels. So then Triss realizes that David was lying to her, and then she and 4 and Christina and everybody, they all realize that there's basically going to be a war going on in Chicago. Like tensions are super high. So then they go back into Chicago. They go back home, and then 4 convinces his mom to not release this memory serum that David gave her on the inhabitants of Chicago, because it's gonna make everybody lose their minds, and then they'll basically be back to where they started, where they don't know that anything exists outside the wall, and then the Bureau can still control them. So then 4 convinces his mom to not do that. Triss manages to stop it from happening, and then she sends a message to the Bureau and says like, hey, like this is our home, and you can't take this away from us. And everybody in Chicago has made peace, and like they're all looking outside and everything's great. And then the camera pans to the left, and Jeff Daniels is still standing there, just vibing with them all. And then the movie ends.
Ah.
Did you get everybody got that?
I forgot about the whole they were gonna release the truth serum on everybody, or not the truth, but like the reverse mind control, whatever.
Yeah, like memory erase.
Memory
serum or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, like orange fog.
That would have been crazy.
The best part is when Caleb gets cornered by this guy and he pushes him into the fog and he's like, "I'm sorry."
And he apologizes.
But yeah, so again, if this movie, like, if the third act was slightly different and if the movie was 20 minutes longer, they could have just made this one movie instead of two movies.
Yeah, why
and we would actually
come
have a
on,
completion.
just make a longer movie with more. It's so stupid. Anyway, yeah,
It's so stupid.
Well, I saw that it was a box office bomb.
Box office bomb. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are not good words.
No.
I think it would have done better, like, well, I don't know. I think it could have been a really good, like, standalone movie with the idea, but the fact that it was, like, the third in a series when the second one was, like, so bad, it's just, like, no one was expecting anything, and I doubt a lot of people went to go see this in the theaters. But I thought it was really compelling, and like it had all these new ideas, and we're in a completely different setting, and it gave me like Black Mirror vibes, all this cool futuristic technology in a post-apocalyptic world, and I was really intrigued by it.
Way better than the second one.
Oh yeah.
This honestly could have just been what they should have just done is rewritten it to be the ending of somehow like put the plot thread of the box throughout the first movie, and then at the end of the movie just put the third act of Insurgent into the end of Divergent, and then the movie can end with them heading outside the wall, and then this is just the second movie, and then it ends on a better cliffhanger, and then the third movie could have been whatever the last one was going to be. But anyway, so real quick, what I was trying to pull up here was, so for Hunger Games, the budget of the first movie was $78 million, and the worldwide gross was $695 million. The second movie got a budget of $130 million, and it made $865 million.
Wow.
Mockingjay Part 1 got $125 million, and it made $755 million, excuse me. And then Mockingjay Part 2 got $160 million, and it made $661 million.
Wow.
So the movies had a slight decrease, but Catching Fire, like, skyrocketed. As compared to Divergent, where the first movie's budget was $85 million, and then worldwide it made $288 million. Second movie had a $110 million budget, and it made $297 million. And then the third movie had $142 million and only made $179 million. So it barely made back its budget. Like, they inflated the fuck out of the budget. So they just wanted to make more money, and they're like, oh, we'll make 2 more movies. But if they had looked at how much Catching Fire had improved box office, like how much more it made than Hunger Games 1 versus Insurgent, because Insurgent barely made more than the first movie did, then they were like, oh, we're gonna make 2 movies out of the third book, which is the book that everybody doesn't like because of the way it ends, kind of understandably so. And then the third movie like made no money at all because the second movie wasn't good. And then so then they were so preoccupied with if they could, they didn't stop to think if they should, basically.
Yeah. I just wanted to shout out the quote that Octavia Spencer Joanna, is that her name? Gave in the beginning. She said, "Great leaders don't seek power. They're called by necessity." And I really liked that.
That reminds me of in Dune when Paul's dad, when Duke Leto says something like very similar, where he's like, oh fuck, it's a very similar quote. A great man doesn't seek to lead; he's called to it, and he answers.
Ah, yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. They must have had a conversation. First time around that I saw this, and this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, I agreed with Jake and what you're saying in, like, oh, they should have made the fourth movie or the second movie to this movie. But as I watched it again, I see where they set it up to do so, but I'm also at the same time, because especially if they hadn't done that one shot of what's his face,
David,
still being, yeah, like, if that didn't exist, I'd be like, okay, cool, like, it's ended, it's over. But I also say this with, like, not having read the book for many years, where at the time when I saw it, I had probably just read the book. So that's a difference. I think that's gonna be, like, my game plan going into movies where they were books first. I think I'm gonna read the books long enough before the movie comes out that I don't remember, like, all of the little details.
Right, because it's automatically gonna, like, skip things, and it's gonna be different. So as long as it has, like, you remember the concept, and, like, maybe you'd appreciate some of the artistic ways that the movie does the story, rather than just, like, focusing on the small details. I think that's generally how I do it. Of course, I haven't read that many books that become movies, but...
Doesn't every book become a movie at some point, though?
I mean, basically, honestly, like, when I thought about, like, writing screenplays and stuff, I'm like, I just need to adapt a book, because all of these, like, amazing films are adaptations from book, and, like, I would love, that would just be, like, I feel like that would be super, not easy, but at least give me a place to start, you know, on, like, a story, and I love, like, formatting as a screenplay, so, like, just taking a book and kind of changing it into, like, the beats of a movie, how we were taught. I feel like that would be a really fun exercise. Like, we should just do that for fun someday.
Yeah, honestly. 1,
Have fun with that.
2, 3, 4, 5.
I feel like even with a bunch of, like, movies, I'll watch something and then at the end it's like adapted to screenplay from this book, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how many movies that we've talked about on this podcast are based from books, you know? I was trying to count up the number, but I couldn't be certain. But, you know.
How far did you get?
Oh, halfway. And then I'm like, I give up.
How many in the halfway mark did you're out there?
Well, I wasn't sure was the thing, because I'm like, I can tell you that Silence of the Lambs was a book and that fucking Twilight was a book, but I'm like, like 12 Angry Men was a play. When Marnie Was There is a book. You know, Tenacious D was based on a rock band idea, SNL sketch, etc. So, like, it's every movie's based on something.
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard to come up with an original screenplay, but that's why those movies are good when they do. And I don't know, never mind. I don't know. That was dumb.
No, you got a good idea going there. Yeah, so I just had a couple things that I wanted to say about Ascendant, if y'all were cool with that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if Do they visit Providence in Ascendant?
I don't know because I cannot find the screenplay anywhere.
Yeah, but what about the?
Which I know
book.
they must
Wait,
have written it.
How does the book series end?
Okay, so the book series ends.
Because there's only 3 books, right?
No, there's 4 books, but there's 3 main books. There's another book called 4, which is a bunch of scenes from the series from 4's perspective, except Allegiant is told from both Triss and 4's perspective.
So there's no book called Ascendant.
No, it's just Allegiant. And then they were going to do Allegiant Part 1 and Part 2, but then they decided to call it Allegiant and Ascendant. Kind of like how Endgame was going to be Infinity War Part 2. Okay, so the Allegiant book is basically, again, if this movie was just a little longer, even if it was 3 fucking hours, they could have just done the whole book. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
But basically what happens in Allegiant is, and what I'm guessing the Ascendant movie would have been, I'm just going to kind of combine both into one here because it would have been pretty similar, is that in addition to having a memory serum, David also creates a death serum, and he plans to release that onto Chicago. Basically, the whole crew gets together, Triss, or Christina, Peter, Caleb, all of them, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna go and we're gonna fight the Bureau, and we're gonna stop them from like erasing everybody's minds or killing them or both or whatever. And then I think in the movie what they would have done is they would have just had like all of like Chicago come together too. Because basically at the end of Allegiant it's the same thing where Tobias goes to his mom and says and basically convinces her to like not set the memory serum on Chicago. Peter also goes through because he's very like, as opposed to the movie where he just kind of flip-flops to being the bad guy again, in the book he's very like more just like silent and introspective throughout the whole time, and just kind of is like he's doing a lot of thinking. And then like in the last like third of the book he says to 4 like, hey, like save me some of the memory serum because I want to change and be a better person. And then 4 is like, wait, so you like don't want to actually do the work, like you just want to change, like you just want to like forget who you are and everything, and he's like, yeah, I've done so much awful shit, like I'd rather just forget about it. So then that's what he does, and which I wonder if they would have done for the movie. Basically what happens is that Triss gets to like the main control room or whatever, and then David shows up behind her. And she she fights off like all of the serums and everything because she's Divergent and she's the main character. And then David shows up and shoots her like right as she's like turning the system off from that end outside the wall or whatever. But then she like wipes David's memory so he forgets who he is entirely. And then she has like a last conversation with her mom, and then she dies. And that's why people don't like the book.
Oh shit.
And then 4 finds out, and obviously Triss dies. That's how the book ends. Triss dies. And if they had made a 4th movie, she probably would have happened. Who knows? Which also distinguishes it from Hunger Games.
I love that. What? Come on.
And then obviously when Tobias finds out, he's super devastated, and he tries to drink the memory serum because obviously he's in so much grief. But then Christina tells him like you have to keep her memory alive, and you have to remember all the times you had together. And then the last chapter is like I think like a couple years later or something like that. And then the world has changed a little bit. Like people can go in and out of Chicago as they please, and they're trying to set up like they're basically setting up their government outside of the wall and stuff like that. I don't remember all the details. And then in Allegiant the movie, Naomi gives Marcus the memory serum, so he forgets who he is. and then in the book they just cast him out of. Instead of doing that, she and Tobias exile him out out of Chicago and just say like you can't come back for like 5 years or something.
Oh, yeah, because in my notes I have Naomi disintegrates Marcus, and I didn't remember what that meant.
That would have been a much better ending if she just literally fucking disintegrated him. But yeah, so
okay.
So
got
so
it.
yeah. So the book ends the same way where 4 is like I've got to talk to one of my parents about this because otherwise the war is going to break out. And he chooses to go and talk to his mom and heal that relationship because he knows that has a much better chance of succeeding than talking to his dad. So then he goes and talks to his mom, and they hug and like reconcile and all that, and then basically what happens in the movie pretty much. And then so like I said, it's like if they just made a few tweaks, the third act of the movie is the third act of the book. They were just going to make a whole movie and a whole nother movie.
Wow.
So it might not even have been good. Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, so the last chapter is set a couple years later, and 4 decides to zip line from the Dauntless compound, and he scatters Triss's ashes, and conquers his fear of heights for her. And I imagine that would have, in the movie version, they would have reprised the M83 song that is playing when Triss flies, also in the first movie.
Yeah.
So every time I watch that scene, I feel it in the first movie. I feel it a little bit because I know that would have ended the fourth movie. Is him like doing that, and then the last line of the book is something like we can still grow and mend and be brave or whatever the fuck. I could just go grab the book and read what it is, but I don't have the energy to do that. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Hang on. I gotta get.
You gotta do it.
Yeah, so the book ends with, because like I said, Allegiant goes back and forth between their perspectives every chapter. And then the last line of the book is, since I was young, I have always known this. Life damages us, everyone. We can't escape that damage. But now I am also learning this. We can be mended. We mend each other. And then there's the book 4, which has a lot of scenes from 4's perspective about Divergent. And then at the end of that, in the copy I have, there's also an epilogue called We Can Be Mended that's set a little bit after Allegiant. And this one is decide if this is canon if you want to. But basically it's just more about like how the world has changed, and 4 ends up with Christina. Okay.
I mean, who else would he end up with?
Which makes sense because they have what, like two minutes of screen time where she makes fun of his name, 20 seconds.
Yeah, right.
And then like so if the 4th movie came out now, maybe they'd put that in the ending, and I'm like, well, that's
oh weird. No, that would be weird. No. Like, why? We don't need to. No.
The author herself was like, listen, if you don't want to believe this is canon, that's fine. And I'm like, that's cool. That's
my gosh.
Thing to say. But I don't know when that was written. It came out after the 3rd book. But even so, people were pissed about the 3rd book because Triss dies at the end.
Who cares?
Bold decision.
I mean,
it's depressing as fuck when you're reading it because it's just him being like in grief and in mourning the whole time. But I love the fact that the last scene is him like ziplining and like doing what she did in honor of her, but also like he's able to conquer all of his fears throughout the series, or at least, you know, work through them a little bit more.
Because she inspired him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like he's living for her even though she's no longer with him. And like in a way that's like beautiful. And like I just those last 5 minutes I would have loved to have seen on screen. Like but they didn't do that because the movie didn't make enough money. And it's funny too because when I watched Mockingjay for the first time, I also did not watch those when they came out for some reason. But if Mockingjay was one single 3-hour movie instead of like a 4-hour joint, I think it would be even better.
Yeah. Freaking Harry Potter started that whole thing.
But Harry Potter had a reason to do it.
Exactly.
I'd even argue that Twilight does too. Like, do you see how big that fucking book is?
Yeah.
Like, even like okay, like Allegiant is as long as Divergent, if not a little bit longer. So like, okay, sure. But like, they could have just made it one longer movie. And then Mockingjay was like, it's like 300 pages. And they're like, yeah, let's make that into a 4-hour movie. And then the fucking Hobbit is
The Hobbit
is like shorter than that. And they're like, let's make it into 3 movies and each of them are 3 hours. It's like, are you fucking, and there's extended cuts. I'm like, are you fucking serious? The reason I wish Ascendant existed was just that my whole rant is just around that one scene. Because imagine watching the first movie and that scene where Triss is ziplining and that song is playing and it's such a beautiful song. And then imagine you get to the last movie and they either they play the song verbatim or they do like a slightly tweaked version of it or whatever, you know. This is the only example I can think of, but it's not the best example. But at the end of the first Twilight, when Bella and Edward are dancing at prom, the song that's playing in that scene, they replay that song when she's walking down the aisle. And something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's got to be better examples than that, but I'm just on the topic of young adult movies, so that's what I'm thinking about.
Sure.
Because mostly I'm thinking of score reprises, but I mean like song reprises, you know? Or like in The Graduate, the movie begins and ends with Sound of Silence, but it's like different variations of that song.
Love that movie, love that song, love that everything.
One of the best fucking movies of all time. I love that movie. Emily and I gotta watch it sometime.
Yeah, I need to make Noah watch it too.
It's so beautiful and melancholic, and I love it so much. Oh, also, my other example I can think of is in Space Jam. Because the movie starts, and dead serious. The movie starts with Maddie. Yeah, I'm sure if you've seen it, it's been a real long time. But the movie starts with Michael playing, just shooting hoops with his dad, and they're talking about his future, and the song "I Believe I Can Fly" is playing, and then Michael's like, I wanna go to college and get a good scholarship and play in the NBA, and then his dad's like, when you're done with that, you're gonna fly, right? And then later in the movie, he actually flies in a ship, and they play the song again. But it's like a later part of the song, and like he comes out and he sees his like own son, and it's like it's like this. It's actually like a really, really good moment. Aww. And like something like akin to that, but like across the movies. But you know how at the end of the first movie, when they're fighting Janine, and then they're telling her to stop what she's doing and to turn the program off or whatever the fuck, and then 4 hands Triss the gun, and then Janine is like maybe maybe you're not Dauntless, and Triss is like, no, I'm Divergent, and like puts the gun in her neck. And so I thought what they would do in the last movie, because this line wouldn't be in the book because it's a different thing, but like David would say the same thing, except he would say like I thought you were pure and I was wrong, and she's like, no, I'm Divergent, and then she presses the button and the memory serum goes away or whatever the fuck. And like that would be a callback too.
You need to make
yeah.
I'd make this fucking movie if I could, but it got canceled. So Maddie, I read the books when I was living back at home, like a year and a half ago. So I'd already seen the movies, and just reading Divergent and how the author wrote, the way that she writes and how she wrote Triss as a character. Like, I'm just like, so much of this, like so much of her bravery and so much of her strength. Like it just felt like I was reading like something that Emily had written, like if it was like from her perspective. And so these movies are special to me, not just because it was our first date, but because reading these books after knowing you, after knowing Emily, I I felt like I was like reading like this is gonna sound creepy actually, like reading her mind, but like
Like, you know her so well that these words felt like they were coming out of her mouth.
But especially during the first one, like when she's going through the ranks of Dauntless and all the trials and everything, and I'm just thinking about everything that you've gone through, and I'm like, no, if you were in this situation, this is exactly how you would handle it. This is how you would process it, you know. Like I just felt so even more so connected to you while reading it, and that just made it really special for me from the book's standpoint. Do either of you have any other thoughts as to any scenes or moments or anything that could have, or anything that might have been in the last movie had it been made?
I feel like you covered it. Like, I don't really know if I would have added anything.
Do you disagree with anything I said?
No.
Also, like, by all means, feel free to.
No,
please.
I think you've basically... I mean, it's definitely something you've spent time thinking about, and that's...
I've been thinking about it for 3 years.
Right. It's...
Since I first saw this movie, and I'm like, what the fuck? I actually like these now. Where's the last one?
Yeah, I don't know, and we've talked about it before, and I think you've really got to...
Yeah, it's surprising they didn't just go ahead and make it anyway, even with like a lower budget.
Well, that's what they were going to do. They were like, oh, we're going to cut the budget out of this. Like, we're going to slash the budget like crazy. And then they were like, oh, no, we're actually going to make it a movie for TV for, like, Stars or something. And then they were like, oh, we're actually going to do a pilot for a TV show, and we're going to make it about other characters after Tristan Forrest's story ends. And then Shailene was like, guys, I signed on to do, like, a theatrical film. Like, go fuck yourselves. And then they're like, okay, well, we can't make it now.
Wow.
Instead of being like, hey, you're our lead actress, we'll do whatever we'll do what you need, or like
she was already swept up in Big Little Lies by then. She's like, this is my adult era. I don't got time for this young adult shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Miles Teller had already been in like Whiplash and shit like that, so
yeah.
I guess that was when the first movie came out. But anyway, that's the story, and then it just got canceled, and then they're like, oh, well, now, since then, what have we got? COVID, and, like, I don't know how all the Hunger Games prequel did, but they're it's, you know, it's just unfortunate that it didn't happen.
I really liked the, whatever Hunger Games prequel just came out.
We still have not watched it,
It's
actually.
really good.
I read the book. Yeah, did you read the book, Maddie?
No.
I read most of it.
I haven't read any of the Hunger Games books in full.
Really?
But I still have to finish Court of Thorn and Roses Part 2, because I'm only a third of the way through that.
Gasp.
I know. How
They're
can
like,
I live
you
with
could
this?
just finish them in like a day.
I used to be able to.
Hey, you're
There
getting
was-
new glasses. You're gonna be like a speedy reader.
I hope so. I miss being a speedy reader. I loved being a speedy reader.
It's gonna happen.
I was the fastest reader in my class for many years.
Me too.
Not trying to brag. Hey, that's awesome.
No, I love that. I
Um,
loved being a badass reader, and like I would roll my eyes at people who stumbled over words. Like, ugh,
Yes. It was terrible, but we all did it.
we're so pretentious. So, Jake, when's the last time you got new glasses? How long have you had these lenses?
About a year and a half. No, year and a half
okay.
to 2 years. Anyway, like I remember in third, I think I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast before or not, or to you, Maddie. I'm sure I've told you, and I know I've told Emily, but in third grade, I was one of the few students that was reading Harry Potter. And I had gotten up to book 5 or 6 or whatever was the newest one at the time. And we had pouches on the back of our desk chairs to put our book in, like our notebooks or like the book we were reading. And mine didn't fit because it was a fucking big Harry Potter book. And so I had to go put it up on one of the bookshelves, like over in the corner of the room or something, because I had a 700-page book, hardcover book, might I add, that couldn't fit in the
She thick.
in the fucking
I can like see you as a itty bitty tiny third grader, like with that giant book
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like your little proud walk to
And
go
then-
put it on the
Yeah,
put
that's
it on the
exactly.
shelf and then like walking back to your desk.
You can see that as clearly as I can see Tobias ziplining down at the end of Ascendant that doesn't exist.
Oh my gosh. I remember I did, well, yeah, I was in the quote unquote whatever, like advanced reading. We had AR, I don't know if you guys both did.
Yeah.
And in 3rd grade I was reading at a college age level.
Oh, yeah, bitch.
But in 1st grade, we'd all sit down and like read like books out loud together in like small groups and stuff. But
Right.
because I was so advanced at reading, they put me in this. I would go to the 2nd grade classroom and read with them. And I felt
Oh,
and I felt
nice.
Like so like prestigious as a reader.
Oh,
and I felt so
yes.
proud, and like I get to hang out with these older kids, and I get to read like bigger books, and by bigger books I mean like
Magic
Arthur
Treehouse
and stuff. Magic Treehouse,
Uh-huh.
yeah. One of our teachers, she would just give away books at random, and so I had like a bunch of the Magic Treehouse books at one point.
Mm.
I've probably read like 30 to 40 of those books.
I feel like I have too. We used to have a whole collection of them.
Oh, that's awesome. And then apparently, because when I worked at the library, around the same time I was reading Divergent, actually. When I was working at at a library, I found this out. So apparently, cause they renumbered the books. So the first cause if you remember at a certain point in the books, they switched from Morgan to Merlin, but they kept the number going. So book 30 or whatever was from then on it was oh, these books are a little bit bigger, they're for more advanced readers.
Mm-hmm.
And those started coming out right as I was getting to that point. So it was timed perfectly with my reading comprehension.
Nice.
Which was great. And I think that was a little bit before Harry Potter, a little bit before I started reading Harry Potter, I mean. And then eventually they got to book 50 something, and then they went back to doing the smaller books, and then they restarted at 29 or whatever. So now if you have a collection, it would go all the way up to I'll check the exact numbers, but it would go all the way up to 55 or some shit, and then you go back to 30 or 29 or whatever.
Oh, interesting.
And there's also a Magic Treehouse anime movie, but I've never watched it.
Huh? Really?
Yep.
Can we watch it?
I would love to watch it. Yeah. It's not dubbed, so I don't know if that means anything for you, Maddie, but
No, I don't like
There's
dub.
no
I
dub
like
of it.
sub.
what are you talking about? Dubs are great. Ghibli dubs are great.
Well,
if it's
okay,
a Ghibli
so-
movie and it's
Yeah, all right. If it's a high budget dub, I guess it's fine. Okay, I'm gonna add it to our lists. Is it called The Magic Treehouse?
yeah, it's called Magic Treehouse from 2011.
Amazing.
Yeah, okay, so the Merlin books, the higher books, started at book 29, with Christmas in Camelot, and then they went all the way. Oh my God, I was right. They went all the way to 55.
Wow.
And then instead of making the next book 56, they decided to renumber that as 29, and now they've gotten to 39. So really, they're at what did I say? 55. They're really at 66 books or something like that. Math.
So they're still coming
So-
out?
They're still coming out.
Wow.
And out of those 60 books, I've probably read half of them.
Yeah, same. We had at least a collection of 15 or 20.
Yeah, they were so small, so they could just...
Right. We had a whole little cardboard set. It was a magic treehouse pop-up thing.
Yes, and then we also had I remember also reading there was the nonfiction ones, cause one of the books they're on the Titanic, And then there was a nonfiction book all about the Titanic, and I remember like loving that like just as much as the. And then they had one about dinosaurs because the first book was about them going to the dinosaurs. Yep, and then they had like the mummies and the pirates, the rainforest. So they basically one about twisters. So like they have and there was like Washington on Wednesday. I remember that one being really dull as a kid because I'm like the entire book is just George Washington telling them you kids can't be here and they don't do shit. Whereas in like every other book they're like they help out and do shit.
I've never read any of them.
Any of Magic Treehouse?
What?
Though you could literally read like 10 of them in an hour. You could literally read a book an hour, not even.
Guys, I was reading college age books.
That's fair.
I was reading like Jane Eyre or whatever.
That's amazing. I've never read Jane Eyre. Although from my understanding it's very strong in terms of feminism and as a as one of the being so ahead of its time beat with the whole robot connection. Yes, Maddie, they're still writing Magic Treehouse books. Though there's one that came out this year, like this month.
Wow.
But anyway, do we want to move into what we watched since the last time we recorded?
Yeah.
What was that? Tenacious D? Emily and I, we started watching Knocked Up, and we weren't really into it.
Oh man, I love that movie.
It took them so long to get knocked up.
Oh yeah, weren't you saying that? Like it was like 45 minutes in the movie before they got knocked up or something.
So
yeah.
I think it was like 25, but it was forever. I'm like, I don't need to know any of this stuff. Like, I know that these are the two characters that are gonna.
Like the movie could the movie could have just started with them meeting, but instead we had like 30 minutes of meeting them, and then they're talking about like penises for like 20 minutes. It's like, okay, we get it.
We get it. You're a Judd Apatow comedy.
Or I'm sorry, they're not talking about penises. They're talking about female nudity in movies, and it's like they're trying to make a whole website to it, but they're standing around, and also fucking Bill from Freaks and Geeks is in like his group or whatever, and it's just all them just sitting around and talking, and I'm like, y'all just get to the arc already.
Maybe you should start once they get knocked up and then go from there.
I don't know. Maybe.
I really love it. Well, have you seen it before?
That's no.
I think you should. I think it the ending is really sweet.
All right, but Maddie, you have to watch all 3 hours of The Abyss because that's another movie where I didn't like it, and then by the time I got to the end, I loved it.
That is different than this, I think.
No, because Knocked Up is what, like 2.5 hours?
It's too long.
Is it really 2.5 hours?
It's like 2:15, 2:20, something like that.
Dang, that's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like the title gives a lot of it away.
Anyway, I've been doing some anime watching, so I crossed off season 3 of Fairy Tail, of which there exists 9 seasons.
Oh my!
And I finished season 5 of My Hero Academia.
Wow.
Which is great. Haven't watched that show in like 3 years. And then Toon and I watched this movie that we thought was going to be amazing, but it wasn't. It was called The Velocipaster.
We talked about that last time.
Oh yeah.
Also watched Stepfather 2.
Wait. It wasn't good? Velocipaster?
No, Velocipaster wasn't good. But Stepfather 2 is pretty good. It's got my boy Jonathan Brandis in it. He's so baby in that movie. Like it was probably like 6-7 years before Sequest or something. So anyway, but the movie was actually pretty good. Just watched it on Tubi, and I actually was invested in it, even though I've never seen Stepfather 1 or Stepfather 3.
You just watched the second one.
Yeah, because 1, Jonathan Brandis, and 2, he's one of my favorite actors, and 2, because because when you start the second movie, they give like a 2-minute recap of the first movie, so it's fine.
Well, okay.
Yeah, and then I had not seen the entirety of Hamilton, so Emily and I watched Hamilton.
You watched it with not new eyes completely, because you haven't gotten your new glasses, but with new appreciation.
Yeah, so the first time I saw it, I started watching it around the time it came out, and I don't know, I thought it was hard to follow, and I wasn't really into the music that much, but I appreciated it from a craft standpoint. But then watching it again, with this one, it was I got a lot more engaged in it. I still feel like I need to like watch it again because like I need to just watch like the stage movement and stuff because I was too busy reading the subtitles. I don't know if it's like something I'd like go and like listen to all the time, like outside of watching it. But like I was able to appreciate it on like a production level and everything. Yeah. And so that was really great because the first time I felt so bad because I'm like, what's the big deal? Like everybody's raving about this, and I'm just like, it exists. Maybe I'm just not the biggest fan of Lin-Manuel. But I liked it more than Encanto because I thought Encanto was just kind of fine. He also did some of the songs for Moana, and I liked Moana quite a bit. So,
did you see In the Heights?
No, I have not seen In the Heights.
That was him, right? It's I liked Encanto, but I saw the stage production of Hamilton, and for me the biggest thing was it felt like the production, like the room should have been bumping because it's kind of like a hip hop feel, you know, like it was just too quiet for me. But also I wish I had subtitles, so maybe I should watch the filming of the stage production because I think there's a lot to take in when you have like the history of it all, and then also being able to appreciate like the musicality, the characters, the production design, everything. Like I was not really familiar with the story, so I was just trying to keep up with that, and then I was like, it just needs to be louder. Yeah, I kind of left with like a meh. Yeah, it was good, you know, but nothing like wicked or.
So that's how I was the first time I saw it too.
Okay.
I was not into it. I didn't really like the music. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, same.
But then I started listening to the music on my, because at the time I was driving 3 hours back and forth to Denver to see this one over here. And you can listen to about the whole production. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, because it's pretty much like an opera.
Like matched up almost perfectly with my drive. So I started listening to it, and as I listened more and more, I caught more of the words, and I was like, wait, this is like actually telling that story. And now I understand, like, and I kind of get what's going on, so I guess I'll go watch the movie again. And I did, and once I figured out the story and didn't have to look at the lyrics quite so intently, I was like, holy cow, like, these people, I know they're professionals, but, like, just the dancing and all of the props and, like, the whole set and the lighting and the spinning floor, like, it was just so cool.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then it kind of comes to life where you connect the two and you're like, wow, they made like an actually good musical out of
his life.
Yeah, which is impressive and not something you learn a whole lot about in school. And so I liked that because I like to learn while I'm doing anything. I just like to learn. But it was entertaining at that point. And then this was the fourth time I've seen it, and I cried. It was rough, but I'm crying at everything. So
no, I felt it too. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna spoil it if anybody who hasn't seen it, but like, if you've seen it, like you know the parts that get to you, like.
Maddie, don't give up on it because it takes more than once to get it.
It's like Memento.
Okay.
Memento's a movie directed by the guy who did Oppenheimer and Inception. The whole movie's backwards. And it's about a guy who has memory loss. It's amazing, but it's like, what the fuck is going on the whole time?
Yeah.
It's great. It's great though. It's like one of the
yeah.
And another cool thing about it is that Lin-Manuel did all of it. He wrote the whole thing. It took him like 7 years, but he wrote like the music for it and script and holy cow. And then he's like in it and he's
the lead.
Yeah, and I remember trying to learn lines for musicals in high school when my memory was like good.
Yeah.
And that was hard. The alliterations in it, I think Jake was saying, are like...
Oh yeah, the alliteration was so impressive. Like whenever they'd say like 3 or 4 words in a row, and they're all like big words. I'm like, wow, that's just so impressive. Every single time it happened.
Yeah, and just the use of like such minimal set, how they really relied on like the lighting and the music and the acting to show. Like there's one point where they're in 2 different rooms. It's 2 people, Hamilton and Burr, and they're in 2 different rooms, and they're both singing about their child, and it looks like 2 different rooms, even though they're sitting right next to each other on stage because of how they did the lights. It's just so cool.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then we ended up having like quite a few like we paused it and had quite a few conversations during it, and that was great too. And one of the things that I brought up was the next one we should watch is the stage production of Cats and see how Binksley responds to that.
She's been quite...
Because Binksley does not watch a lot of movies. Like she's like, oh, whatever, I got better things to do. Unless it's Highlander. So now I'm just like, I wonder if like, what if Cats will actually watch Cats. So that's so cool. That'd be so funny. Like, hey Binksley. Then she just look at if that happens, if we ever watch it and she like looks at it and like we get a photo or something, obviously we'll send it to you.
Oh yeah.
And I'm talking about like the actual like good production, like not the awful movie that they made. Anyways, Maddie, have you watched anything since we talked about Tenacious D?
Yeah. Actually, I've been back watching movies. It's been great. Did I talk about Bottoms last time?
I think so, yeah. Oh, wait, if you didn't, talk about it again, because
I love Bottoms.
Bottoms is great.
Because you talked about it, and then I think I watched it, and I can't rave enough about it. It's just so funny. The comedic timing, the writing, the acting. It's so insane, and it's like a caricature of a high school film. It stars Rachel Sennett and Ayo. I don't know how to pronounce her name, so sorry. But she hosted SNL not too long ago, and she was so hilarious. Oh my gosh, she was so good. I didn't know who she was at the time, and then I watched this. I was like, oh, okay. And so she's the one who just got cast in the new Luca Guadagnino movie.
Okay.
So she's gonna be in that. I don't know. I just died laughing, and I rewatched it again, and I never do that. Like, I never watch a movie over again. Like, oh my god, I loved it. So that inspired me to watch
awesome.
Shiva Baby, who is by the same director and stars Rachel Sennett again. And that was good. It was kind of like a slice of life. Like, this girl goes to a Shiva and she encounters her ex-girlfriend and also her sugar daddy at the same event, and it's just like this whole chaos thing. So that was fun. Yeah, I watched Marrowbone.
Never heard of that.
That's on Prime and Hulu. It stars George McKay, who's from 1917, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things, Mia Goth, and then a younger actor, Matthew Stagg, but he's a kid. It's about these 4 siblings who live in this house that's haunted, but also they're trying to take care of their dying mother, just kind of make ends meet until the eldest turns 21, I guess, until they can like all be like, he can be their provider after their mother dies. So it is so good. There's like a great twist. It's
sounds intriguing.
Kind of spooky. Yeah. Then we watched Insurgent, Allegiant. Okay, then I watched Dream Scenario with Nick Cage.
How was that?
Really love that. It's kind of like Don't Look Up, in the fact of like the cancel culture like type thing. Like, this guy becomes all the rage all over the world, and then he does certain things and he gets canceled, and how it affects his life and all that, from like a kind of a surreal instance that happens where he ends up in everybody's dreams. Like, everyone starts to dream about this character that Nick Cage plays.
Mm-hmm.
So he becomes like a weird celebrity. But it's really interesting. It's really good. I watched Body at Brighton Rock, which is on Prime. It's a very independent film about a inexperienced park ranger who comes across a dead body while she is pretty much lost out in this park. It started off really well. Like, I love the intro to the characters, the dialogue between them. I was like, okay, I'm into this. But then it just was like, oh, so, like, the writing got bad, and it was like, well, why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do this? Why does this look like this? The production quality kind of turned bad. There was a twist at the end that was good, but up until then, I was just like, I'm over this movie, so it's not that compelling. So it started off good, then kind of downturned. Then I watched Ginger Snaps, which I told you about.
Yeah, I've wanted to see that forever.
Excuse me, that's also on Prime.
To tie it into what the Stepfather movie, one of the leads, Bridget, is played by Emily Perkins, who plays Bev in It, and she stars in that alongside Jonathan Brandis. So,
okay.
Who was in Stepfather too?
Wow.
Oh, she's also in Juno. She's the girl that gives Juno the pregnancy test.
Yes, I saw that.
Or no, I'm sorry. She's the lady at the abortion clinic. My bad.
Right. She's like the baby has fingernails girl.
Oh.
Wait, no. Wait, no. That's one of the protesters. If she's at the abortion clinic, she's like the receptionist.
Yeah, she's the receptionist.
The one that's like talking about how her boyfriend likes the berry pie flavor.
Oh.
Right? Like, is she the one that's like sitting there playing her like
I
Game
think
Boy or something?
I think so. Yeah.
I gotta look up that scene now.
Welcome to Women Now, where women are trusted friends. Please put your hands where I can see them and surrender any bombs.
Hey, I'm here for the big show.
Your name, please?
Juno McGuff. She thinks I'm using a fake name, like Jean Simmons or Mother Teresa.
I need you to fill these out both sides and don't skip the hairy details. We need to know about every score and every sore. Would you like a free condom? Or boysenberry?
No, I'm off sex right now.
My boyfriend uses them every time we have intercourse. They make his junk smell like pie.
I had never even heard of it, and I just came across it on... I think it was, like, recommended to me after I watched Marrowbone and Body at Brighton Rock. And I was like, you might like Ginger Snaps. And I was like, okay, sure. If it's about a werewolf, absolutely. A teen story mixed with lycanthropy, absolutely, that's me. So, it's basically what it is. It's fun to watch. Really fun.
Yeah, I definitely gotta watch that. It's like 100 minutes. I'm gonna try to watch that sometime during my time off. Maddie, there's 3 movies in the series. There's 2 sequels.
Oh my.
It's a trilogy.
Ginger Snaps back.
Yeah, Ginger Snaps back, and then whatever
and then
the other
Ginger
one.
Snapped. No, I don't know.
And then, Ginger
Snaps 2,
Unleashed,
and then Ginger
Unleashed
Snaps
2,
back.
and then Ginger Snaps back. The beginning.
Ginger Snaps Unleashed 2? Why is it called that and not... I don't fucking format your titles right.
I know, it drives us nuts, you guys.
I think it should be Ginger Snaps back, and then Ginger Snapped.
Nice.
That works.
I don't know why they don't have me making, like, more movie titles and stuff.
They really should.
I think I do a lot better than some.
Please hire her.
Somebody.
Yeah, but it's basically a story of these 2 just darling sisters who are loved by the community. And there's a wild something on the loose that keeps killing all the neighborhood dogs. And then
thank you for being vague. Please don't spoil it.
The bit by it, and then
Sounds amazing. I gotta watch that.
Okay, last one. I watched the Idea of You with Anne Hathaway, the new one on Prime.
How is it?
It's so good. You gotta watch it.
I've been thinking about it.
I haven't even heard of it. Where did you see it advertised?
Prime.
It's
what'd you see
basically
on
as
Prime?
if like a middle-aged mom fell in love with Harry Styles and their relationship.
Wait, did you say Harry Styles?
Yeah, but it's not Harry Styles, but it's like a character as if he was Harry Styles from One Direction and like the whole thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought for a second I was like Anne Hathaway and Harry Styles. We gotta watch this.
No, but it's so good.
Okay.
I've
Yeah,
not seen a
that sounds
rom-com
interesting.
like this in a long, long time.
Yeah, I really want to watch that. I'm looking at
Okay.
some of it now.
Here, I'll add it to our list.
It's the #1 most searched rom-com right now.
Yeah, loved it.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to watch that.
It's on Prime. We have that.
Yeah. Also, we can
And
find it.
tonight, Noah and I were watching American Fiction. We just started it, so we'll probably finish it tomorrow, but so far it's so good.
American Fiction. What's that about?
It's about a Black author who is kind of pressured by his publisher to write more Black stories than what he's writing, because he wants to be recognized as a Black author, but not necessarily as like a stereotypical Black author, if that makes sense. And then it's kind of like about his life and personal issues and his family and things like that. It's really funny. It's really good. It's on Prime too.
I'm looking right now at the overview or whatever for
Lead
in the male lead in Idea of You. And it looks like he was in Bottoms too.
Oh my god, he's the quarterback guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's so funny. No, he's... Oh my god! I did not make that connection. Thank you.
Also Cinderella, the 2021 Amazon Cinderella.
Oh, God. No. No. James Corden as a rat thrusting into some dude's face in the middle of the road. And during traffic. God, I hate it. I hate that man.
Okay, but the rest of it was so good.
Oh. I'm sure the movie's fine. But the fact that he did that as a marketing stunt makes me hate him even more. And the fact that they got him instead of Paul Rudd to interview the Friends reunion is a fucking crime.
Yeah, no, he wasn't great, but and he's not great, but that's not what the movie was about to me.
That's very fair.
What I was trying to get at is that this male lead from The Idea of You is also Prince Robert in this Cinderella.
Okay, so you don't like James Corden? No. Noah. He said no.
No, I don't. I didn't like him before, but ever since I saw him thrusting at me in a camera in a fucking human-sized rat suit, no. I don't like that man. Also the fact that he thinks that writers should get paid less is bullshit. Because writers are already underpaid and overworked.
Oh, he thinks that? Okay, I just liked him in Peter Rabbit. Alright, I'll change my story here.
No. I'm sorry. I just feel passionate about that because he wasn't like on his show. He wasn't writing his own bits. You know, like writers are writing for him, and he's like, these writers should not get paid as much because they're not the ones on the fucking show like I am. And
That's
I'm like,
such bullshit.
And then during LA traffic, there's like flash mobs and shit. And then they had all the actors come out, and he goes up to some dude's window, and instead of like doing a dance, he literally like thrusts against this guy's car door, like in the middle of LA traffic. And Tuin sent me that. I don't condone murder, but like if some guy in a rat costume starts hitting his dick against my car window, I'm like, get the fuck away from me. I'm gonna have you arrested.
It was like a publicity stunt?
Yeah, and it was a publicity stunt. And then also they got him to host the Friends reunion, and they could have just gotten Paul Rudd because Paul Rudd wasn't there. And I like Paul Rudd. He's a super chill guy, and he's funny.
Cool thing.
and he wasn't in the reunion. I'm think he was busy doing something, but if they had gotten him to do the Friends reunion instead of James fucking Corden, that would have been great.
Yeah,
But,
why was he... So he was the host?
yeah. So he was hosting and, like, asking them questions and stuff. And it's like get the fuck away from my 6 best friends, you rat man. I hate you.
You rat man.
So, Emily, I am so sorry. I have no beef with that movie. If you loved it, by all means, I do not want to take that away from you. I just hate that man.
Yeah,
very
no,
much.
I'm not a huge fan.
I don't like that man.
He's not why I enjoyed the movie.
That's fair.
It was
something
else.
It was Cinderella and the Prince.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's great.
And I just liked how they did it. So
and I don't want to take that away from you because I'm also gonna sound super hypocritical, but I don't like when people take away from someone else's enjoyment of a movie. Like, if you enjoy a movie, enjoy the fuck out of it.
Right.
By all means, please. Like, don't let what I say take away from your enjoyment of the movie.
Don't you worry. I won't.
I'm just saying I really don't.
Emily's got her own opinions, okay?
I do, and they are strong.
But I got strong movie opinions too. Like, There Will Be Blood sucks.
Listen, I kind of feel like I need to revisit There Will Be Blood.
That's fair, Maddie. Revisit it and tell me it's great, and I'll believe you. The End of Evangelion is the greatest movie ever. Before Sunrise is great. Those aren't hot takes though. Anyway, sorry, I got on a whole nother tangent there. So next week we're going to be talking about the new film Challengers, which stars Zendaya and Josh O'Connor and Mike Feist. He was also in West Side Story, and he was really good in that. So I'm excited to see him in this.
Oh yeah.
And it's directed by Luca.
Just Luca.
Yeah, it's just okay. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna be talking about next time. Keep therapizing. Stay away from James Corden, and make Ascendant into a movie.
Preach.